Just a sec. I'm not happy. All right.
Thanks.
I think I'll keep my cell phone. I sold many tickets.
Happens every break. I lose the top of the screen.
Okay. All right, let's get started. So before we get to the observations, there was two other things I forgot to mention, Barry Matthews pointed out something, and I apologize, Barry, for overlooking this. Barry has an article, in his first ever article, in the Journal of the RASC this month on miniature telescopes. So well done, Barry. I'll definitely be looking at that. So the other thing that Oscar pointed out to me as well is that the Saskatchewan Star Party there's information on the Saskatchewan Star Party on August 21st to the 24th. If you'd like information on it, I'll leave some pamphlets up here. Perhaps you'd like to travel to it. Okay. So we've got a couple of members' observations. First up is Raymond Dubois and Pierre Martin. And I guess you probably can guess what they're going to talk about.
Holes in the ground.
You got explaining to do. You got explaining to do.
Want your money back. So we there was a lot of anticipation, as you probably know, about the camelopardalid meteor shower peak on May 24th. That it was a very unique situation that the Earth was to pass through multiple dust trails left behind a century or two ago by the comet. But there was a lot of question as far as the rates. There was an expectation that it might be a strong Perseid-like shower, or it could be a dud, or it could be maybe even a meteor storm. And as it turned out, the rates were very low. It turned out the shower was active, but on a very low level. And is this better?
Yes.
Okay. So as I was saying, the camelopardalid were expected to put on a strong showing this year for the first time, but there was a lot of unknowns, so nobody really could tell what would be the outcome. And as it turned out, it was a relatively weak shower, but nonetheless still active. So we can have the first slide. So what Raymond and I decided to do was to travel out west from Ottawa. We're having a clearing sky, but late in the evening. But we're confident that by traveling out towards Cobden or Pembroke, we would be okay to. And this is essentially what we got. We got a relatively clear sky all night, and just a few cloudy periods, but enough to really get a good sense of the shower and have and myself get a good formal observation. So I signed on around 11 o'clock. And that early in the evening, my hopes are actually very high because as I was setting up my cameras, even before I signed on for my meteor watch, I saw one camelopardalid, and it was gorgeous. It was a very slow meteor, magnitude 0, changed colors a few times, and there was no question that it lined up perfectly with the radiant. So I was like, wow, there's already one, and it's still hours away before the peak. So I set up my camera and then got everything going. The moment I set up in my lawn chair to formally sign on and start watching, a minute after, I saw a really bright one into the northeast. It was a magnitude -3 cam. And it, again, very slow, like barely faster than a fast-moving satellite. And it was gorgeous. It had also a very unusual look to it where it seemed to basically dissipate and fragment into a nebulous appearance towards the end of its path. That made it really interesting. But as it turned out, the night, the rates never did pick up. There was a slight enhancement around 3 o'clock in the morning. I would say the ZHR reached around 10, 12 an hour for a very short time. And by that time, the meters were very dim. So anyone with any moderate light pollution would have easily missed out. So I'll let Raymond talk about the capture, which is this first meteor that I managed to see as well. And Raymond had his camera pointed in the right direction to capture the -3 cam. So Raymond?
Well, this was taken at about 5 to midnight, so it was really early in the evening.
And so this is was taken.
Close to the microphone.
Oh, this was taken at about 5 to midnight, and after. No.
The right button to go forward.
Okay. No. There. And I got a persistence after it passed. So before and after. So for Cam having a persistence, I was pretty lucky. And it was really turned out really nice. My next photo. Thank you. And my next photo, it was about is 1:20 in the morning, and you just barely see it on the top left-hand corner of the Milky Way. But if you take a look very closely, I don't like pointers. Right here, you see a bit of green. I think I got a bit of the Northern Lights way up here in Ottawa at the same time. And the orange is part of the city glow. So I'm pretty happy. It turned out pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of my results. Oops, wrong. Okay, here's the shot. That was a wide-angle shot that I took with my Canon 6D and a 35mm lens. Only a 50-second exposure. I was tracked, and you can see the light glow from Ottawa reflecting on some of the distant clouds and the rising summertime Milky Way, the Cygnus region. So I was hoping to have this sort of shot with a composite with the meteors through, but as it turned out, that camera, even through the entire night, did not actually capture a single meteor, but a large number of different satellites. The second camera that I was running on my mount was a 5D with a slightly, more normal standard lens, 50mm. And the meteor that you see here is actually, it's not a cam, but it's sporadic that I captured. Where it was a fast one with a green streak. So I looked at this picture, and I also managed to capture a little bit of the possibly the distant aurora. You can see there's a bit of green streaks in the picture, either the northern lights or maybe a mix of that and the natural air glow that we can sometimes see with a green hue like that. But there is also the, I'm not sure if we, whoops. Okay.